systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're back an hour earlier on Wednesdays with my guy Gyiraszin having bowling to attend to there. So we got to accommodate his schedule. Hey, we got, another week of these shows, I think, right? I think it's winding down, right? Pretty close here. We're coming to down the stretch, right? We're going to be talking about it. A lot of these teams playing for something. Some of these teams not playing for that much, obviously, there. So you always have the concern, right, with the pitchers' leashes in games like that. We'll obviously talk about one of them in Woodruff here. Brewers obviously clinched the playoff spot already. They are still fighting for that NL Central title there. Pretty favorable chances to lock it up there, but it's still not clinched completely there. Throw it over to you, Gyiraszin. Fun slate on tap here. We got another Coors Field slate. We got a split day baseball going on and night baseball. We got 8 games tonight, all locking within an hour and a half of the start time, besides that Philly and Dodgers game there. So should make for a pretty fun condensed slate. And then, I mean, you're going to be holding maybe Blake Snell in the holster, right, for late night exposure there. But what's going on, man? Happy Wednesday. How was last night? How are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, last night wasn't bad. Yankees did well, but, the Mariners had to nuke it. But, Kyle Riley, that dude's on a different planet at the moment. And, I've always wondered, Nades, do you ever wonder, when a dude, is in the position Riley's in, when it's been either Judge or Bonds or whatever? I kind of feel like these pitchers, don't give a shit, and they'll just groove them to him anyway to see if they can, continue, especially some of these games that don't matter. I just feel like they're not pitching around these guys. If it's like a playoff type game, nobody's pitching to Kyle Riley when he can hit 2 homers. Come on, it just kind of just seems the way it is. But hey, it was still a fun night. I ended up cashing on a few, so I wasn't too upset about it. But this slate's a little funny. FanDuel's 10 games, DraftKings 8 games. FanDuel starts 640, DK starts 705. So, we got the Tigers and Guardians or Indians or whatever you want to call them at 640, and then the Red Sox A's. That's not going to be on the DK slate. So a little bit different, but hey, we got some decent pitching today. We got some decisions to make. It's not like it's kind of like yesterday where one dude stands out because they got a matchup against the Angels. And then, the rest of them, you can kind of poke holes in them a little bit. But, they're still all decent plays, but we'll get through it here. I think it's pretty interesting slate, but yesterday had all kinds of shit. We were talking pre-show. Yuri Perez is rolling, gets has a little delay, screws that up. Overall, fun day. You're right. We're getting down to the end here, getting down into football season. But it's a fun time of baseball. But you got to keep in mind too about the benches are longer. They got more relievers down there in the pen. So, some of these guys, like Scooble's case, I would assume they'll never probably throw him over 75 pitches again here the rest of the season until the playoffs. So just something to, kind of keep in mind as we're getting through here. But yeah, interesting time. But yeah, let's roll through this one here and figure out what we can do and keep us in that winner circle as we've been in.
Yeah, we got, like I said, about a week and a half or so left, right, leading up to the end of the season here. Sunday, the 28th, is the last day of the regular season there. So still some baseball to be had. And, hey, knock on wood, it hasn't been too crazy yet, Gyiraszin, in terms of the prospects and the expanded rosters and all of that. Obviously, this has been one of the tighter races pretty much across the league, obviously outside of the Brewers case for the most part. A lot of these teams are coming down the wire here, which does help the case for us, at least in terms of analyzing it, right, from a DraftKings and a fantasy perspective overall there. Sean Sullivan in here, Jason Turner, Jay Nevy, Warren Tyler, Marquee Sports, Michael Ortiz. Appreciate you guys tuning in with us early here. Everybody watching now and on playback, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton here. We're going to jump right in and take it over to our partner at SaberSim here. Let me just change this over, and voila, we go like this and go like that. And we have SaberSim up here. I did run kind of a dry run right now with 150 teams. Just did kind of set up as a tournament player would here tonight and ran some teams. And you see it there. There's 4 pitchers really that are kind of the talking points of the slate. You got 3 guys up top in Woodruff. Woodruff in kind of a tier of his own. No surprise, right? Matchup against the Angels there. You saw what Freddie did last night. And then you got Snell and DeGrom right there is kind of a step below. And then you got the cheap guy in Javier who's getting slammed projection-wise into rosters to really make those spend-up rosters like the Yankees, right, work in terms of stacking-wise. You go over to team stacks, and no surprise, Miami, Colorado, over 100% combined ownership in terms of rosters there. It's basically spend-up pitching, stack Coors Field, and hopefully you hold hands with everybody else at the top of the leaderboards and make some money, at least projections-wise and dry run-wise. What does that do for you, Gyiraszin? And then take us into the pitcher talk. 8K and above, you got Reagans all the way up to Pivetta. Pivetta at 10K. Nobody's really going to go to him off of Woodruff there. Woodruff, Snell, DeGrom, all great options, all going to get played, I think, and all good plays in general there. And then you got Gausman and Luzardo that are kind of getting left in the shuffle a little bit compared to what they are just because of the other pitchers in their tier there. So break it down, 8K and above as well.
Yeah, I mean, Woodruff definitely stands out, that matchup with the Angels, especially with his 31% strikeout rate. I mean, he's just been absolutely just on point with, he just hasn't been walking anybody. I mean, he's been pretty good. Last time out, he had 32 points over there on DK. I think Woodruff is easily the SP1. I mean, it's pretty simple just because that matchup with obviously the highest strikeout team. And then, you look at Pivetta. I don't mind Pivetta. I mean, I think it's decent, but I mean, do we really want to fool around with, going against the Mets? I mean, that's kind of scary within itself. The Mets have been pretty good here in recent times. I think Pivetta is just pretty scary. I mean, they're really good against righties, the Mets that being, so that really worries me. I think Snell's interesting. I know he's popping in the optimizers, but here's my problem. Snell's like, he's either on or he's off, and there is no in between for this dude. I mean, it just seems like he's just terrible or he's good. Now we're sitting here looking at, when we've talked a few times through the season, Nades, where if we can find a lefty who's hittable, man, we're not afraid of with Schwarber. Schwarber can smack the shit out of lefties. So can Harper. So that's kind of scary for me. I mean, I don't mind the price. I wish he was a little bit cheaper than what he is, but I just think Snell is, I mean, that's like flipping a coin, man. I just don't like it. Gausman, I think is really good. I mean, I don't really like his matchup here, but he's been really good. He's been at 26.5% strikeout rate. I mean, I think if you want to find a pivot off Woodruff, I think Gausman's my guy. I think that's the guy I'd be going to. So I think Gausman is definitely interesting here in the spot. And I think all these pitchers here really Nades. I think Woodruff stands out with a good matchup, and the rest of these guys, like, I can figure out reasons or tell you reasons why I don't necessarily like it. It's not like they really stand out all that much. So I think for me, DeGrom, I don't like picking on Houston. Houston doesn't really, have the strikeouts we want. DeGrom, I just kind of worry about him there with the leash. But I mean, you look up top. I mean, I'll go down even a little bit further to Luzardo. I think Luzardo is interesting too here against the Dodgers. I mean, I'm not afraid of the Dodgers, not at all. So I think Luzardo is a guy that's not going to be that owned. He's got 28% strikeout percentage. He's 8,500 on DK. I mean, he's priced up almost 10K on FanDuel. I mean, they got him up there pretty high. I'd much rather play Luzardo than a Blake Snell. I mean, so Snell's going to get the ownership. I'm pivoting to Luzardo, no question. I think I'd play Luzardo ahead of Pivetta and probably even ahead of DeGrom for the pitchers up at top. So, I mean, I think, really up top, I mean, I do like Luzardo. I think he's the guy I'd play, and I think I'd go with Gausman, and then I'd pretty much go with Woodruff is where I'm looking.
Yeah, no, I like a lot of what you say there. I'll start with Woodruff, right? The pitch count concerns are definitely there. I can see in the realm of probably anywhere from 70 to 85 pitches, somewhere in that realm. I still think that's enough, right? Against the Angels here, especially with Neto on the shelf for these guys now. I mean, it's just the best strikeout matchup in baseball over the last month for right-handed pitching. His K-prop sells that as well. 7.5, pretty heavily juiced, right? Minus 120, minus 125, minus 130 in a lot of the books across the industry there for Woodruff, right? So I like Woodruff a ton. He's my SP1. Even at the ownership, he is going to be owned there. I will say an interesting way to kind of pivot off of Woodruff, instead of going Woodruff and Snell, if you go Snell and Luzardo, pair both of them in the same game, West Coast, right? That game out there. I think both pairing a Snell and Luzardo pairing, I think is very, very sneaky, very interesting here. You look at the K-props. You look at Snell, 7.5, which is right there in line with Woodruff. Pretty equal juice on both of those on the over. And then you look at Luzardo, 6.5 K-prop juice the under, but you look at 5.5 heavy juice, minus 150 to the over there as a pivot right off of DeGrom. Exact same K-prop. I mean, DeGrom's K-prop, 5.5, minus 152 to the over. Luzardo, same thing, 5.5, minus 150 to the over at a fraction of the ownership there. I think Luzardo and a Snell pairing in the exact same game, when people don't like to do that, is pretty interesting here. So for me, it's Woodruff SP1, then Snell, then Luzardo. Those are kind of the three guys I'm going in on. I like Gausman much more as well than DeGrom there. I think that's another pivot. You look at his K-prop as well. It's right in line, 5.5, juice the over, minus 135 on the over there. So for me, it's Woodruff, Snell, Gausman, Luzardo, and then Reagan's is the interesting one here because nobody's going to click Reagan's. You needed the Mariners to ship anything last night. Canzone hit 3 home runs. Raleigh hit 2 home runs. I mean, they were just launching bombs in general here. Reagan's has pitched really, really good against this team in his career here. Nobody's going to play him in general. I mean, this dude's got a 32% K rate against this current roster of the Mariners. We know this Mariners roster still does have strikeouts to be had within this roster, and I get it. His pitch count concern isn't great, or his pitch count ceiling isn't that great here, but you look at the last 30 days for the Mariners, about a 24% strikeout rate there. They do have some power in general there, but I think as a tournament play that nobody's going to click at 8K, I don't mind a sprinkle of Cole Reagan's there. But he's definitely my distant 5th option above 8K personally myself. Let's drop below 8K. I think there is some guys you can play down here. You got to talk about Christian Javier. Going to be probably the 3rd or 4th highest owned pitcher on the slate at 6,500 there in that matchup at home against Texas. A good pitcher's ballpark there. 6,500 is a pretty ridiculous price point for him and his skill set. Obviously, he's coming back off the IL, coming off the injury. He's had a couple starts now under his belt there. So hit on him. And then can we go back to Coors Field? Yuri Perez threw a gem last night. The rain delay very hurt his ceiling in general, but I mean, he was cruising through 5 innings before that rain delay came in, had 6 strikeouts, something like that. Ryan Weathers, up and down pitcher, lefty here in general, which does give some concern, going to face mostly righties here, but I still think there's strikeouts to be had in this roster, and he's going to be a direct pivot right there off of Javier. So break down this lower tier here.
Yeah, I mean, there's some guys that are playable down here. I mean, you could look at David Peterson. I think he's interesting. The Padres aren't really a team I generally like to attack, but I mean, Peterson, you look at him, he's pretty good against lefties, 32% K rate, doesn't seem to get hit very hard. So, I mean, they're going to have 3 or 4 lefties in that Padres. I have 4 of them. So I think that's interesting. Luis Gil, whatever you want to call him. I mean, last time out, he had a great start. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had a no-hitter role in there through 6 innings. But, I mean, to me, the dude's just too wild for me, man. I mean, it could get ugly really quick with you. You look at his walk percentages. I mean, they're ugly, man. 15.5% to the right side, 15% to the left side. I'm not really interested. The most of the Twins are pretty patient. So I just worry about that one. I think, you look at Javier. I mean, I worry about that one too, man. If everybody's going to play Javier, I'll just let everybody else do that. I don't like him. He's another guy that has walk issues. Not as bad as who was I just talking about? Not as bad as Heel, but Javier basically, I mean, we're looking at 10.3 to the left side, 11.1 walk percentage to the right side. He does get hit by some lefties. I mean, they got Peterson. They're going to have 3 or 4 lefties in there too. So, I mean, Javier, I mean, he's a fly ball pitcher. I mean, 36% to the right side. I mean, I don't know, man. I am not a fan. I mean, truthfully, if I had to go that low, I'd probably go with Bryce Miller. I mean, I get it. He's 6K. I get he had 11 Ks and they were against the shitty ass Angels. But I mean, I think at 6 Ks, the pitch counts there. He's what, 22% K rate. I mean, he generally just gives up power to lefties. I mean, we're going to look at some of the Royals here. The lefties they have. I mean, yeah, they got Yastrzemski, Vinny P, Massey, Caglione, Isabel. I mean, I'm not really scared of these guys. I mean, these guys aren't hitting 40-plus bombs. I'm not worried about it. I think Bryce Miller would be the guy. I think I'd take a chance on Nades down below. For me, I just don't think. I think it's kind of like yesterday. There's only one guy with any kind of upside, I feel, at his price. And what kind of leash he's got. And that's pretty much Woodruff. I mean, the leash, I think at 80 pitches is more than enough to get what you need out of that Angel lineup. I mean, you could look at Soriano. I mean, the Brewers they're just not really striking out too much here. I mean, you got a lot of ground ball guys there. You got a ground ball pitcher. I mean, you're just going to get a bunch of ground balls, in my opinion. So I'm not a fan, but really down below, I think Peterson be the dude I'd be looking at. And then I think I would just go down to Bryce Miller. And if Javier is going to be 20% plus, I think I'd pass.
Yeah, no, he definitely is going to be there when people are punting. They're first going to him in general. For me, I think it's going to be. I think Bryce Miller makes the most sense at 6K. I know the strikeout matchup isn't great with the Royals there, but I mean it's the same thing. I mean, Javier struggles with walks and everything. I mean, and he doesn't have the greatest strikeout matchup either with Texas. Texas has been hitting the ball better as of late there. So I mean, overall, I just think. I think Javier is very risky in general. I mean, he's got one of the worst Sierras on the slate too, and people are just going to him just due to his price. I'd rather just save the extra money and go down to Bryce Miller and take this similar risk, or play. I mean, I don't think a Taj Bradley is the worst play in the world either against the Yankees. I mean, you're going to get some leverage there. Taj Bradley, you look at his strikeout prop, 5.5, basically even money. And nobody's going to click that name. They're going to mess around with Javier. So I think Taj Bradley is an interesting pivot there in tournaments. Obviously, I love the Yankees. Yankees are my top overall offense when we get there. But in tournaments and as a leverage, a guy does have strikeout ability and have the ceiling in Taj Bradley there, and is going to be sub 5% owned because everybody's going to be playing the Yankee stack. So I think taking a shot with a guy like Taj Bradley over Javier is nice. But Bryce Miller and Ryan Weathers are my two guys that I'm going to take a shot at. 6,200, 6K if I do need to saves. I'm not messing with any of these other guys there. I don't really want to mess with David Peterson there. I'd much rather just play Cole Ragans, to be honest. Even with his probably 70 pitches that he's going to get, I just think he can have the strikeout ability there. He showed in his IL stints, right, his rehab assignments. Obviously, he didn't go very long, but he showed a ton of K potential, ton of K upside, which obviously is no surprise, right? We knew the K potential this guy had before he went to the IL there. So for me, it's really Weathers, Bryce Miller, and Bradley below 8K. But ideally, I want to spend up. Ideally, I want two of my pitchers to come from this 8K and above range overall with Ragans, Luzardo, Gausman, Snell, Woodruff. And I think you could obviously play a Pivetta if you wanted to. You could play some of these other guys up in the top tier, but that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. For pitching in general, let's jump over. Let me refresh the stone here.
One other thing too, real quick, Nades, I just want to add to that, those lower tier guys, Javier's an underdog. I mean, you're looking at, some of the lines. I mean, Heel's a favorite, -156. Javier's, obviously underdog there to Texas. Peterson's a favorite, so, I mean, if you're kind of looking for a win too over there on FanDuel, I think that, I like to look at that sometimes too, if I'm, trying to decide. Other than the K prop, I mean, I want to know what the chances of this guy getting a W for me are. So I think that's a little something to just kind of keep your eye on. Yeah,
no, absolutely. There takes us into this first game here Blue Jays and the Rays. Let me just refresh the weather here. Not great hitting environment here. Obviously, it's above average park, but pretty similar to yesterday in general. Temperatures in the upper 70s, mid to upper 70s, about 7 to 10 mile an hour winds kind of blowing in from right center field here. So not super great hitting environment, but above average. Ian Seymour's been really, really good for the Rays. This Blue Jays offense is a different beast to be messing with in general. Kevin Gausman, we both had interest in from a pitcher's aspect. I don't love this game from a bats perspective here, but I'll throw it over to you right away. What do you see here in Steinbrenner Field, Rays and the Blue Jays?
Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays been hitting really well. I'm just not really wanting to pick on Seymour. Seymour just doesn't seem to get hit all that hard, just doesn't seem to get beat up. I just not really a fan here of the Blue Jays here in this spot. And I mean, we got a game total 7.5. I mean, we got plenty of 9s. There's actually 4 games on this slate here, Nades, that got totals of 7.5. Then you got that whopping 10.5, and then you got a couple games at 9. So I mean, we really got it. We literally got a game with 3 runs difference. Then so obviously that's why those optos are pushing you toward that Coors game. I mean, it's a huge difference, but yeah, I just don't really see anything here. To me, it's pushing it.
Yeah, no, I will say. For the case for some Blue Jays, if you wanted to, number one, both these teams used some arms yesterday out of the pen. I mean, Toronto used 6 arms yesterday out of the bullpen there. Their bullpen's pretty taxed, so I think going to a Rays stack won't be the worst stack in the world, just because offense is a struggle today. We're trying to find offense. That's why everybody's condensing around the Yankees, but more importantly, condensing around Coors Field. You take a look at Gausman. Yeah, he's not an ideal pitcher that you really want to attack, but if it goes bad, it goes really bad. And lefties can get to Kevin Gausman over the stretch. He is a fly ball guy in general here. So looking at some of the Rays against right-handed pitching, Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau, Tristan Gray, Mangum, Simpson are both in play there. And then you got 2 power hitters in Yandy Diaz and Caminero, who are both really good against right-handed pitching. And then, like I said, I talked about the bullpen. I mean, you look at the Blue Jays, what they threw out yesterday and Monday in competitive games. They went 5 bullpen arms on Monday. They went 6 bullpen arms yesterday. 3 of those guys going back-to-back in Hoffman, Dominguez, and Brandon Little. I would assume all 3 of those guys are unavailable tonight here, which does make the case here. You could see some of those lesser arms out of that Blue Jays pen if the Rays were to get to Gausman a little bit. Don't love it, but again, we need to find some offense here on the slate. I don't think the Rays are the craziest take. And then the Blue Jays, I don't know what Ian Seymour is. He's been really good, but again, he's still fairly new. So guys like Springer, Davis Schneider, Kirk, Vlad, Ernie Clement, some of these righty power bats against left-handed pitching, I think are firmly in play too. Above average hitting park in general here. And a game that you could see go crazy. We've seen Rays in similar situations here on slates like this in basically a neutral to below average matchup, just kind of nuke the slate. And I could see something like that happening from either side of this game here tonight, because both these offenses do have the upside. Blue Jays have won a ton of slates this year. Next game on the slate, Mets and the Padres. Looked like you needed the Mets early on yesterday. Everyone was tilting their faces off, right? Oh, Mets, no cash. They were unowned. They got the job done yesterday against Michael King. Weren't anywhere near the winner after the Yankees said, hold my beer. And then the Mariners said, hold my beer as well. Going back to the well here, you got David Peterson, Nick Pivetta, 2 good arms. Fairly similar spot to yesterday. I mean, we weren't really on this game yesterday. I'm not going to be really on this game in general here again. Above average arms, must-win games for both of these teams realistically here. You're going to see the best arms in leverage situations out of the pens. I don't love this game from offense. Are you interested in this game at all?
No, I like both the pitchers too much to even try to push it. I don't even really think there's any one-offs that I'd really be looking at here. But yeah, I think I'd just pass. I mean, Pivetta is, kind of a fly ball pitcher, 34%, pretty much both sides. I mean, he's been getting barreled up. I mean, if you want to take a shot on some Mets on anything in this game, I guess I would take a shot on the Mets. But I just think there's better spots. But if I'm MME, I'd leave the Mets in play. But that San Diego bullpen's really good too, as we know.
Yeah, the Mets lefties, I think, are fairly interesting here as an upside stack. I mean, you look at the Padres bullpen, it is really good. They did use Kyle Hart for 40 yesterday. They used Matsui for 36 yesterday. So those two guys are both going to be probably unavailable. But the rest of their pen is completely rested in general, obviously outside of Rodriguez. But, I mean, you got their whole other bullpen that is rested in general. So I don't love it, and I don't love picking on Petta, but if you wanted to, lefties are where you want to pick on him with. Again, another pretty gross game, pretty weak game in general from an offensive perspective. Next game on the slate here, Angels and the Brewers. Brewers got the job done last night, scoring 9 runs. Again, talk about their stolen base upside always. They were active on the base pass again last night here. I can see more of the same coming tonight. I will say Soriano is a turbo ground ball pitcher, but, man, his control has been all over the place. He's going back down the well. As of late, his control has been really, really bad in general his last couple starts here. I think the Brewers make a full 5-man stack viable. Again, I talk about it all the time. If I'm playing the Brewers, I want to 5-stack this team or at least have 3 guys a mini stack because, again, it's hard to pick individual bats off in general. But they just steal bases, right? A walk, a single, steal second. That's 7 points, 8 points that you're looking at there. A double to the gap scores. I mean, you got 10 points and you didn't hit a home run there. So I think the Brewers are interesting. Obviously, the Angels bullpen very bad behind Soriano. And when it goes bad for Soriano, it goes really bad. And I'll take my chances on anytime playing against a pitcher that has walk concerns there. Angels used a bunch of arms yesterday. Peralta threw 40 pitches. Seth threw 24 pitches there. So I'm assuming both those guys are probably unavailable here tonight as well, which does help the case for the stack. What do you see here in Milwaukee?
Yeah, I mean, picking on Soriano with the Brewers is kind of tough. I mean, we're looking at probably the most I don't have it exact in front of me, but I'm guessing Jose Soriano with his 67.8 ground ball percentage to the left side and 64% to the right side, 11% fly ball rate, 13 to the right side. It just scares me. Brewers hit the most ground balls of any team in baseball. I mean, but I think Soriano, you might only get 4 innings out of the guy. Then you get that shitty bullpen coming in there at the back. But Soriano, as you mentioned, he's got walk issues, but he just doesn't seem to give up home runs. He's not getting the ball up in the air. But on this slate here, if this was a bigger slate, like 12 games, I wouldn't even consider the Brewers, to be truthful. But I think on this slate here, we got, as I mentioned, half the games are 7.5 total, Nate. So I think we got to consider leaving the Brew Crew. And then of all the games that have 7.5 totals, I think the Brew Crew would be my favorite team. I put the Brew Crew even in my top 5 stacks here today because that bullpen. I love attacking that Angel bullpen. They are just horrible. But I think, they might get a couple runs off Soriano. I don't see any home runs, really. They might single, double, triple, steal some bags, do all that. But the back half of that game, they could definitely get to that Angel bullpen. But I just am concerned about, mixing together a team that hits so many ground balls with a pitcher who that gives up so many ground balls.
Yeah, it's definitely scary. But again, if you want to talk totals, you want to talk, that's why everyone's going to condense around Coors Field for a good reason, right? You got 2 bad pitcher or 1 bad pitcher, 1 terrible pitcher for sure going for the Rockies. That's why everyone wants to go there. I'm just looking for teams that can match the output or production. And the nice thing about the Brewers is they don't have to hit home runs to hit their ceilings. They can steal bases. It is scary playing a team like the Brewers against a ground baller. But again, anytime you have a pitcher that can walk guys like Soriano can get wonky with control, you have added an upside there. Ballpark Pale has Soriano at -137 to record 3+ walks here. So you could see it. And that's where I think they fit the script there. Definitely a much better game here in terms of overall offense. Yankees and the Twins. Right back in on the Yankees as well. They came in fairly low owned yesterday. I think they're going to be even lower owned here today because Taj Bradley, a little bit more of a serviceable arm in general from a name recognition standpoint. But these price points do make it hard to spend up at pitcher. You do have to kind of punt one of your position, your pitcher positions to afford to 5-stack the Yankees here. Yankees got right back on the horse last night, murdering baseballs in general. Twins did leverage some of their better arms out of the pen last night due to that game being close, right? Thomas Hatch went out there, threw some innings. Larson through 35, Cabrera through 23. I mean, the top half, they're better bullpen arms. Hatch, Cabrera, Larson are going to be unavailable here tonight. 35, 45, 45 pitches. I watched that game in depth. I thought we were going to get a position player. Yankees bullpen let the game slip away on the back of Schlittler, and the Twins kind of clawed their way back into the game here. I think this game is my first stop for a pivot off of Coors Field for sure, but on both sides of the game here. Luis Gil, we know what he is. He can get really wild at times. You want to talk about walks. Luis Gil is minus 322 favorite on Ballpark Pal for 3+ walks in this game here. Twins been hitting the ball. Yankees pen gave up a lot of runs last night. I think this game is interesting on both sides. Definitely prefer the Yankees side, but I don't hate the Twins here as another spot, another pivot off of Coors Field here. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, we can start with the Yankees. I mean, that's the easier spot. Taj Bradley's not any good. I think weren't we against Taj Bradley and when he was on Seattle and then he got like DFA'd and everybody was on him that day. I kind of remember. And then, we were kind of laughing about it. But, I mean, not laughing. He lost a job. He's still fine. But, I mean, not to be mean. But, either way, you know what I mean. But, I mean, Bradley, look at his numbers against lefties. He walks 11% of his lefties. His K percentage is at 19%. His ground ball percentage sure is at 50%, but he does give up more fly balls to the lefty, and he gets barreled up at over 9% against lefties. I mean, we know these Yankees got lefty power. Grisham, Ben Rice, Bellinger, Jazz, McMahon. I mean, they all can basically hit the ball in the air. And then, you look at the righties with Judge and Stanton. I mean, obviously, we're not too worried about that. So, I mean, the Yankees do grade out as one of my favorite stacks here today, even more so above Coors Field, just like yesterday. But I think the Twin side is awful interesting. I think this game as a game stack is interesting, actually, because, you sit here and you look at Gil. I mean, we already talked about how big of walks, he gives up 15% to both sides. But, I mean, the lefties barrel this dude up 14%. He's getting barreled up 30% fly ball. His line drive percentage is high. Hard hit percentage is high. Everything's high to the left side. You got Larnach, Wallner, Julian. I think these guys are decent plays, obviously, with Buxton up there at the top of that lineup. So I don't mind the Twins here. And I think this is a good chance here to maybe game stack one that could keep up with that Coors game. I think this is the game, Nades. I think we could see a softball type game here, especially if Gil starts getting wild. We could definitely see something. So, yeah, I got interest in both sides, but I think the Yankees for me stand out, especially them lefties.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And the Yankees pen has not been very good as of late. You saw it again last night here. Yankees and Twins ranked 24th and 25th in baseball right now, according to some of the metrics for bullpen rankings over the last month. That's not very good. So you could see this game go crazy. That's right in line with the Rockies. Actually, the Rockies are at 23rd. The Yankees are 24th. Twins are 25th in what I'm looking at there in general. So I think this game's interesting on both sides. Definitely prefer the Yankees. I want all the lefties to start. If that means leaving Judge at 6,600 out of your stack, it feels gross, but I think it's another interesting way to stack it up. I prefer Grisham, Rice, Bellinger are kind of my three starting points in general. Austin Wells has been playing really good in general. Ryan McMahon's been good. I will tell you, Yankee stacks, if you want to be different, play Anthony Volpe. Nobody's going to Anthony Volpe in their Yankee stacks. He got the job done last night as well. Shortstops are a pretty weak position in general there, so don't hate him. On the other side, Brooks Lee fills that shortstop position. I like him. Switch hitter, Matt Wallner, Trevor Larnach. Larnach hit absolutely missile last night in the bottom of the eighth is to bring them within two. I think going right back to him, Matt Wallner, my two favorite bats for sure. But I like the game on both sides for sure. One of my probably my favorite overall spot on the slate, even amongst Coors Field. Next game on the slate here, Royals and the Mariners. We talked about Bryce Miller a little bit in general at 6K. Cole Reagan's making his first start back off the IL, probably limited to around 70 to 75 pitches or so there. Mariners, you needed them last night. I don't think it's the same spot here tonight. Personally, myself, I don't love this game from a bats perspective here. If I picked a side, it would be with the Royals lefties to target Bryce Miller in general. Yastrzemski, Vinny P, Caglione, I think you can go to. Those are kind of the three main guys I would look at. But what do you see here in Kaufman?
Man, I just think with the power that the Mariners have, I mean, Cole Reagans, how long are we going to get a Cole Reagans before we get that bullpen 4 innings? I think you definitely got to consider the Mariners. I would call the Mariners my own favorite stack of the night because of the power they have. I mean, obviously, Kyle Riley keeps hitting bombs. You got Arozarena, Julio, and Eugenio all in decent spots. So I don't think basically, I'm going to let Cole Reagan scare me off. I mean, he's coming back off the IL. Who knows what he's going to look like. I mean, even before he went on the IL, he was getting beat up a little bit. So, I'm not afraid of it here. I think the Mariners just got enough power for me where you got to keep them in. I mean, you look overall in the slate, they're definitely, lineup-wise, one of the better teams up and down. So, Nades, I think I just got to leave them in, man. I think they're my low-owned stack. I mean, I get it. They did it last night, and I'm not trying to – use recency bias or anything there. But, I mean, we're looking for offense, as you said. I mean, we got a game total 8.5. The Royals, bullpen, all that isn't all that great. We're going to sit here and look at, how many innings what are we going to get out of Reagans? Maybe 70 pitches, maybe, possibly. Who knows? Coming back off the I doubt he's getting 90. So, I think definitely the Mariners need to be in play. And as I mentioned, man, like these guys like Kyle Riley and all them that are up there in these historic home run marks, I just think sometimes some of these guys don't give a shit, man. They want to see him get to 60, 65 homers. And I don't know. I'm not saying I just feel that way sometimes, but I wouldn't sleep on Seattle. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think I slightly prefer the lefties for the Royals side a little bit more. Royals definitely have a worse bullpen than the Mariners. Mariners actually have a really good bullpen. They've been pitching really good, especially the last month. They did use 4 bullpen arms last night, but they should all, for the most part, besides Hancock, be available here. 17, 15, 15, 12 pitches in the last 3. So they should be available. You should see the better arms, but I think the lefty power bats for the Royals are pretty interesting to me, especially at these price points in general. Off of Bryce Miller, he's been absolutely atrocious the last month against lefties. A 444 ISO allowed, 55% hard hit rate, fly ball rate approaching 30%, a barrel percentage of 18% to lefties there. Yastrzemski, Vinny P, my 2 favorite bats for sure. I think it's a nice little mini stack there. Mariners are fine too, but I don't love it as much as I did last night in general. I think Reagans is enough to at least hold them somewhat in contained. You saw once the game kind of got into the bullpen late, the Mariners kind of fizzled out, besides obviously but besides Canzone, right? Canzone just continued to hit all the way through, but the rest of them kind of, for the most part, settled down at least to an extent there. So, okay game. Don't love it as much as I like the Mariners last night. Prefer the Royals lefties a little bit more personally myself. Next game on the slate here, Rangers and the Astros. You want to talk about leverage stack here. The Rangers against Christian Javier, one of the highest owned pitchers on the slate here, projected wise tonight. He is the punt SP2 option that people are going to when they want to get up to those Yankees bats there. So I would avoid playing the Yankees with Javier personally. And hey, maybe you play the Yankees, you don't play Javier, you go to a Weathers or a Bryce Miller, and then you play some of these Rangers as your mini stack to double leverage the roster construction standpoint. I think that's definitely in play. Guys like Jock Jams, Josh Smith. This Rangers team is super, super cheap in general. Have continued to hit the baseball as of late here. Reason I didn't love DeGrom is I just hate picking on teams like the Astros right now that put the ball in play. They need to win games right now. So you're getting, 150% effort out of all of these guys every time they're up to play. They're going to be working counts. They're going to be doing this, especially against DeGrom here. So that's kind of the reason I didn't love DeGrom. But what do you see here in terms of offense in Houston?
Man, I'd sure like for these Rangers to have some better righties on their team to attack Javier. Javier's been getting beat up by righties. I mean, we talked about his walk issues. His ground ball percentage is really low, 16% to righties, 36% fly ball to righties, kind of reverse splitsy here. So I think, Langford, Berger, and Garcia are interesting. He, as we mentioned, the walk issues there, but does give up a 330 WOBA. He's got a 43% ground ball rate to left side. So just kind of looking at some of these lefties here, the fly ball rates. Peterson's a little over 30%. I don't mind him, but I don't love it overall, but you are going to get some leverage over there on DK if you wanted to use. I think I maybe probably use some of them Rangers as more of a mini stack, maybe even some one-offs I'd maybe want to pull. Wyatt Langford probably and Garcia be my first two I'd probably look at. But if you're not going to use Javier, I think maybe pulling a Ranger out as a one-off isn't a bad idea, or even mini stacking him, especially if he's going to be up there in the mid 20-30% owned. I think there's some pretty good leverage spots to be had here.
Yeah, I think Berger, Langford, Jock Jams, Adolis, Josh Young, and then Josh Smith, I think are kind of the main guys I'd be looking at there. I do prefer actually the lefties more. I mean, you look at Javier this year and last year, 19%, 18% K rate to lefties, 13% walk rate. And ISO much more to the left side, Woba much more to the left side, fly ball rate 32%, not quite as many fly balls to the left as right side, but again gets barreled up in general. So I think full stack in here is viable as well. It is a little scary going against that Houston bullpen in general, but you talk about taxed. I mean, they had to blow through arms last night. Colton Gordon threw 57 pitches. Los Santos threw 27, Abreu threw 32. I mean, you look at the top half of this bullpen here, Gyiraszin, 38, 44, 48, 57 pitches. All four of those guys, Okert, Abreu, Los Santos, and Gordon, all going to be unavailable there. So you're looking at Kimbrel, Murray, King, France, Hernandez. I mean, whoever else they throw out there. So it does help the case for the Rangers as well. And, hey, the Rangers jump on Javier early. I mean, the Astros could just punt this game, right? You always have that aspect too with teams like this that are still fighting, still staying in there, right? Fighting for that top spot. Let's talk about it. Coors Field, Marlins, and the Rockies. I mean, you want to talk about probably the worst pitcher in baseball, at least through his short stunt here. I mean, McCade Brown looks absolutely miserable. I mean, no surprise, right? Rockies organization, they have a lot of these guys, German Marquez. I mean, the list goes on and on, but man, his metrics look terrible. I mean, anytime your walk rate is higher than your strikeout rate, not the best, not the best case scenario there. Marlins last night, what was it, 6-5 game, something like that. Wasn't anywhere near the winner really because number one, that rain delay, but when the Brewers put up 9 runs, the Yankees put up 11, 10 runs, and the Mariners put up 10 plus with multiple home runs. Hard for this game to get there, but hard to see this game busting here. I'm more interested in Coors Field here tonight than I was last night, just because of the lack of offensive spots in general here. And McCade Brown is just absolutely miserable. Marlins full stack them up any which way. They're great options here. It's hard to poke holes realistically in them tonight. Overall, I hate playing chalk. I hate playing Coors Field, but it's hard for me to kind of pull myself away from this one here tonight. What do you see here?
I mean, you look at that Marlins lineup, it is ugly. I mean, I could go to probably 90% of people who call themselves baseball fans, and they couldn't tell me 2 dudes in the starting lineup. Like, they just couldn't. So, I mean, it's just names you don't know. Names Marcy, Ramirez, Liam Hicks, I mean, Troy Johnston. I mean, there's just guys that, you just not come on. I mean, I know Connor Norby from being in the Orioles organization, be one of the top prospects. But the rest of these guys are just tough clicks. But man, this McCade Brown's been bad. I mean, he's been horrible. He dude might as well roll up the big red playground ball up there and play some kickball. But I mean, it's hard to click these Marlin names. I mean, they're just not household names. They're just guys you don't see. I mean, so I just don't want to do it. I'm just going to stay away from it. Like I did yesterday. I didn't want any part of it. I'm going to stay away from it again today. But I mean, you either full stack it or you don't. I'm not going there. And then picking on the other side there with the Ryan against Ryan Weathers. I'm not interested in that either. I think Weathers is decent enough to go against the team that, I like to use pitchers against anyway. Just because it's in Coors Field, I'm not going to push it and jam it. But I mean, I think I'd rather play Weathers than go against them here. So. Yeah, it's tough here. I can't do it, Nate. I'm going to let it go. Fading it.
Yeah, no, I definitely get the case. I will say if you're stacking up the Marlins, I would 5-stack it or nothing. I would not include 2 or 3 man one-offs in this game, just because if they get there, I expect them to get all the way there. I don't expect them to be hitting a bunch of home runs. It's going to be more of BABIP style. I mean, maybe you get a home run for a guy like Connor Norby or something like that. But realistically, this team against right-handed pitching over the last 30 days, team ISO of 111, they just don't strike out. I mean, 18% K rate as a team here. So balls are going to be in play. That's when runs can score. If I'm going here, I'm 5 stacking or nothing for the Marlins side. I don't have any Rockies interest realistically. Weathers, you can definitely attack him if you wanted to, but he just doesn't allow a ton of power in general. And I want power if I'm going to this team. And it's not like the Rockies are going to be unplayable. They're going to be probably the second highest owned team on the slate just due to their salaries in general and playing in Coors Field. So if that's the case, I'd rather pivot to a different team like the Rangers at similar price points, some of those lefties for the Royals, that the Twins at a similar price point, and then obviously the Yankees. So for me, I don't love Coors Field at the ownership. I'd much prefer the Marlins side, even though it's the higher owned side. And 5 stacks or nothing for me on the Marlins if going there in general. I mean, McCade Brown is just miserable. I mean, as title would say, cheeks. I mean, this dude is blood red in every metric you look at across the board: walks, power, fly balls. I mean, barrel rate, everything. I mean, this dude just doesn't get swing and misses at all. And the Marlins don't strike out against right-handed pitching. So balls are going to be
talking pink either. He's talking freaking fire engine red.
Yeah, blood red. Like this Phillies logo, like this Phillies right here, like that red. I mean, dark red, right. Dark red. It's miserable. I mean, this kid is horrible. So if there's a spot for the Marlins, bunch of no-namers, it's this one. If they fail here tonight, it's going to be tough sledding for them to it's going to be tough sledding in general. Takes us to the last game of the slate. 2 hours after, hour and a half after the other games will be kind of well on their way. In general, you could have some late swap, but again, it's just not a great spot for offense in this one. Blake Snell, Luzardo, both these teams coming down the stretch need wins. They're going to be playing the best. They're going to use their best leverage arms if they can out of the pen. If this game is close, I will say the Dodgers pen is more taxed than what Philly is. At least right now, Dodgers used quite a few arms the last 2 days in general there. Always can play a Schwarber, a Harper. You can always play an Ohtani, a Mookie Betts in general here. But I don't love this game from an offense perspective. And I think an interesting way here to go tonight, Gyiraszin, is Luzardo and Blake Snell, pair them both up. You're sitting on both pitchers. Hopefully your offense early on gets the job done, and then you can get 25 or so from both of these guys and be well on your way to hopefully the top spot on those leaderboards late night. What do you see here?
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like when two pitchers are battling each other, especially two good pitchers. But, yeah, I mean, it's tough to play offense in this one. I would lay caution, if you were looking at any Dodgers, obviously with Luzardo, you got Kiki, do you love me in the lineup, Alex calling them. I mean, they're probably going to get pitch hit for us. So, as soon as they bring in a righty, Muncie's of the world are be coming in, and so I'd be concerned about that. But no, I'm just gonna let it. I like what you said actually. I mean, the pivot off Woodruff, to go with these two pitchers here at the back end. I think you got some strikeout upside. I think that pairing will be very low owned. You definitely got some upside there. I think that would be a way that I could see myself going as well. But hey, I'm over on FanDuel tonight, so. I'm not necessarily going to have to worry about picking two pitchers, but I mean, the price differences over there on the site, as I mentioned, a few of the pitchers are, like a just super high price compared to over here. Luzardo's higher price over in FanDuel, but I think Luzardo is one of my favorite pitchers on the whole slate, Nades, as far as goes, even with the matchup he's got here against the Dodgers. But I think it's an interesting slate. Got some decent pitching options. We got, a Coors Field we're going to fade. Hopefully some ownership gets dragged over there. So, I'm happy with that. But I know what you're going to ask me, Nades. Give me your favorite stacks. Give me your pitchers and all that fun stuff. Hey, it's not my first time here on the road of the show with you here. So, my favorite stacks, we're going to go with some Yankees. And I think for me, like I said, I'm staying away from that Coors Field game. But I got some Yankees. And I like some Brewers, and I also do like some of the Mariners that we talked about. I think that'd be some of my lower-owned guys. And as far as I'll give you a home run call, I think the one guy that I'd probably look at today, I'm going to Julio Julio Rodriguez going to hit a home run for me tonight.
All right, there it is. J-Rod there. For me, pitching, I'm going Luzardo is my favorite option on the slate with ownership, upside, everything. Woodruff, and then I'll go Kevin Gausman. So I'll go Woodruff, Gausman, Luzardo, and Blake Snell. Those are kind of my 4 favorite pitchers there on this slate in general. Offense-wise, Yankees number 1 for me, Brewers number 2. So I'm in lockstep there. And then my 3rd and 4th are going to be, I like those Rangers value, and I like the Twins value as well. I think both of them are going to be lower owned as pivots off of Coors Field. And I think both of them have equal upside or similar upside, at least at a fraction of the ownership there. So those are the spots I'm going. And then for my home run call, I'm going to the Royals to target Bryce Miller. I'm going to Mike Yastrzemski here. I believe he's batting leadoff. Let me just look. That lineup did come out. Yeah, Yastrzemski, batting leadoff there. I think Mike Yastrzemski leads off the game here. If not lead off, hopefully one of his 4 or 5 at-bats, he does hit one deep there in Kaufman against Bryce Miller and those platoon splits that he does have. That's going to do it. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. If you're not a member yet, still time to join, still time to get in for SHIPIT games. $139 a month does cover all sports, including an optimizer with ability to build up to 150 teams and get you eligible to win potentially a golden SHIPIT, be one of 50 qualifiers at the end of the year here. If you go to shipitnation.com/games, get you access and breaks you all down, how to join, how the contest works, everything. It is an $80,000 free roll as it is right now and can only go up from here if this prize pool grows, right? And these share ship winners get the job done and cash, right? 50% of those profits go directly back into the prize pool for everyone in general. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit that like button. Like I said, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on playback, do the same as well. Drop down in the comments too. If your favorite stacks, a home run call, if you have, we like to take a look at those. But again, appreciate everyone tuning in. I know it's September baseball. It's not the glorious time of the year, but appreciate the real ones hanging out with us. Jake Swales, Marquee Sports, Warren Tyler, all you guys, Jay Nevy, Lay the House. You guys have been here every time, and we appreciate your support. So for Gyiraszin, I'm Nades. Good luck tonight in those contests. Hope to see those Shipping Nation logos at the top. We're out of here. Peace.